I'm never gonna be.
You gonna be ready? All right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the fifth annual Lupus Has No Face Informational. It is I, Antonio Luckett, owner and founder of TDR Network, and I am here today to go ahead and introduce a young lady that I have had the privilege of working with for over the course of the last year. This lady has made many strides and achievements in the name of lupus with her foundation. She has done everything from walks to informational to give backs to a lot of things. There are so many things that I can say about this woman, but honestly, I wouldn't do her no justice. So what I want to go ahead and do today is actually bring her up to the stage, let her tell a little bit about herself and all the different things we have going on here. So Miss Savannah Burks, please come to the stage.
Hi, you guys. Thank you so much for being a part of the 5th annual Lupus Has No Face Informational. I couldn't do this without you, so I appreciate your time today. So my name is Savannah Burks. I am the owner and founder of Lupus Has No Face, nonprofit organization, 501c3. What that is it's a nonprofit that gives back to the community and cater to the people that has lupus. Not only do you have lupus, some warriors have fibromyalgia, rheumatoid arthritis, and other invisible illnesses. So I also teach the loved ones how to cater to the ones that has lupus because it's a visible illness that's unpredictable, right? So I am a warrior myself. I've been diagnosed over 20 years ago, and when I got diagnosed, no one spoke to me. So as I got older, I accepted what I had. So I started educating myself on what it was, learning my triggers and how to deal with it. And as I grew older, I started pouring back in the community because every time someone found out that I had lupus, they will always say, "You don't look like you have lupus." And it's, what do lupus look like? So that is how Lupus Has No Face was born, right? So what is lupus? Lupus is an autoimmune disease. Basically, in English form, our antibodies and our cells can't tell the difference from the good and the bad. So it eats at each other. It's 4 different types of lupus. SLE, drug-induced discoid lupus. I do have SLE. It affects all my major organs. I am in remission as of today. There is things that you can do to get in remission, but you have to be consistent with it and make a couple of life changes, right? Next slide, please. So the spectrum of impacts, right? Systemic, as I was just explaining to you. So systemic is it affects all your major organs, so your lungs, your heart, your kidneys, everything. Discoid lupus, I also have discoid lupus as well. So it can affect your skin and can cause you to lose hair. I have lost all my hair at one point in time. When I lost all of my hair, I felt invisible. I am a woman without hair. Like, how do you feel? How do you, go to your mate and your children and go out into the world? I was lost for a while. So what did I do? I started researching and paying attention to what I was eating and talking to my doctors. And I found the dermatologist, which her name is Dr. Dedrick, right? They took a biopsy of my scalp and told me that my hair would not grow back. I was heartbroken again. But she was a very good doctor. She is a very good doctor. So she had faith in what she could do and what her products provided. So she put me on a solution, which I am a success story in her practice. My hair started growing back in 3 months. So my hair started growing back in 3 months. Now I have a head of hair. I'm sorry, you guys. My invisible voice is messing me up. So I say it to say, when things are going wrong, you want to pay attention to your body. You want to talk about it. You want to be an advocate for yourself. You have to have different specialists. Your primary care provider is only a Band-Aid. You have to have specialists that know what they're doing in each individual parts of your body. And they all have to communicate with each other so they can give you basically a blueprint on how to live well with lupus. But it starts with you at home. You're your own doctor, right? Beyond what you see, right? So common visibility symptoms: fatigue, joint pain, swelling, skin rashes, fevers, hair loss, So this is what I was telling you. It was way worse than this, but I had lost all my hair. I woke up one day, I was washing my hair, and it just all started coming out in the shower. Like, I don't know what I did, what I was doing, what changed. It just all started coming out in the shower. So, and that's where I'm at today, probably a little longer. So I'm happy about that. So it grew back. But I was on steroids, and I was on gabapentin, and I was on Ballista, and I took this solution that I had to correlate into my everyday life. Also eating well, right? So if you don't eat right, nothing you do is ever going to matter. You have to eat right. You have to get your rest. The nourishment that goes in your body does matter. It does matter. The common invisible symptoms are headaches as well, um, congestion, mood disorder. People don't understand when people are in pain, they have mood swings, right? And you may feel like, oh, she has an attitude today, or, you know, whatever the common sayings are when people are looking a certain type of way or acting a certain type of way, or their body gestures, right? No, it's an act of kindness. It costs nothing to be kind, right? You never know what that person is going through. Your act of ugliness can actually push that person over. You know what I mean? So I always advocate to be kind to others. Okay, setting the record straight, myth and reality, right? Only affect older people. That is a myth. You are literally born with this. Something you do in a community have too much of food, too much of a certain type of food, too much exposure of something, too much of anything. And what it does is it onsets it. And so you become full diagnosed with lupus, right? So there's no way that you're a baby, a newborn, and they're testing it and you just automatically have it. It's not impossible, but you are born with it. And typically it is um what word am I looking for? It as you know, when your family members have it. There you go. That's that brain fog. That's another thing that you have dealing with lupus, brain fogs, right? So you just experienced one, right? So look fine must be fine, right? So Sarita, an example, right? She used to go to the doctor all the time, looking well put together. The doctors felt that because she looked at well put together, that she was not in any pain. How can you judge your person, your patient, by looking well put together and say that they're not in any pain? They didn't perform the proper test, right? But lucky she was a advocate for herself and continued to go through her journey, which she will be coming up later to speak, that she's now living well with, she has fibromyalgia, but people with lupus as well have fibromyalgia. So you definitely have to be an advocate for yourself. The reality is most common in women, childbearing age 15 to 44, highly diverse. Many symptoms are invisible. Progression has improved significantly with treatment. Yes. So in order to go in remission, I was faithfully taking my medicine at the same time every day. Faith played a big part in what I have. It just do. It did. It does. It do. Right. So praying, meditating, eating the right things. Now I'm not saying that you have to be in a bubble. I still live my life. You know what I mean? I drink, you know, I do hookah and things of that nature, but I did the work on myself to know my triggers. So when I have too much of something, I know how to slow it down, right? And if you're feeling some type of way, what do? You try to fix yourself at home, or if you can't control it at home, you go to your doctor, but you got to continue to be a voice for yourself because your body tells you when something is wrong with you, right? Strategies for empowering and managing lupus self-care. We all talked about self-care once before, right? We are so busy being a mom, being a business owner, all of the things. Rachel V was just on a show implementing self-care. You have to pause, you have to rest. Rest is very important. You can do all of the things, right? But once you are down and you are avoiding self-care, it's going to stop anyways. And it's going to stop at a time that's going to be inconvenient for you, and you're not going to have anything planned, so it's going to be in reverse, right? So you always want to take that time out to manage your time to self-care, right? Whether that's resting for an hour if you can, or, sitting in silence, or taking a walk, whatever that looks like for you that you can fit that into your life, make sure you do it. Um, Also, rested in peace, as like I said, healthy dieting. So healthy dieting, right? We all look at that like, oh, I like my chocolate, I like my steak, I like the snack at nighttime. But you can still do those things. It's just like, 80% of the time you want to eat healthy. You want to eat healthy because you're going to feel good. You're going to feel better. You're going to be more radiant. You're going to see that through your skin. Just overall happy, right? It helps with everything, and everything starts in your gut. And that's another reason why Christina is here. She's a coach. She specialized in that, right? So she will be up speaking about that in a little bit. Sun protection. Whether you have lupus or not, you should be wearing a sunscreen. It doesn't matter what color of your skin. You have to wear a sunscreen. I don't know where people get that from, that you have to be a certain color, but no, sunscreen is very important in your daily skin regimen, especially for those with lupus. If you don't continue to apply sunscreen, it has to be 80 and above for people with lupus, because you will bake from the inside out and you will develop lesions. Also, being in the sun for too long, it fatigues you, right? So if you out on vacation with your girls, you got to keep replying that. It's sun protective wear that you can wear, like hats and swimsuits and things of that nature. Let your team know, like, yo, I need to go take a break. I need to go get some water. I'll be back. You got to communicate with your friends so y'all can properly help her or him, because men can have lupus too, to have fun on that trip, right? You got to talk to your team. Importance of supporting system, emotional support, understanding, and validation. So, like most people, like when I was growing up, I couldn't explain what I had because I didn't understand it, right? I couldn't tell people how I was feeling because I couldn't make sense out of it. Um, it was oh, you was just out the other day, you're lying, just say you don't want to be bothered. And it has nothing to do with that. Like, lupus is a very unpredictable, invisible illness. You got to be understanding. You got to have those uncomfortable conversations, and you got to have those talks. There's nothing that I can say to you today if you don't do your own research. So I can give you all the tools, and all the speakers can come up here and give you all the things that you need. But if you don't leave this room and educate yourself on what it is, you're not going to know how to um, help others that is dealing with this, because it's sporadic, it's unpredictable. It is. It's unpredictable. It's unexplainable sometimes, and people are already having a hard time dealing with it because it plays on their mental. And that is why Mrs. Gray is here, because having an illness like that, it does play on your mental, and you do start questioning yourself, like, am I really in pain? Because everybody around you are saying, like, you don't look like you were in pain. You was just out last night. Stop seeking for an attention. And it's not that at all. Like, if you understood what chronic pain is, or if you went through one day of living with lupus, and then having fibromyalgia, and then having rheumatoid arthritis, and all of those things, you will never say that a day in your life again, right? Nourishing mental health, acknowledging feelings. So somebody tell you that they don't feel good, accept it. See how you can be of help. Some people that have invisible illnesses in the beginning of stages, I didn't want to be bothered. I didn't want to see anybody. I didn't want to be that help card, right? But if those are your people and that's your circle, utilize them. It's okay to not be okay. It really is. It's okay not to be okay. Everybody that wakes up every day to be healthy is not okay. It's okay. Just acknowledge you're not okay, right? And certain activities, or if you're dealing with somebody that has rheumatoid arthritis, the swelling in the joints and the bones of those things, and y'all want to do activities, be more patient with that person, or plan activities that person can do and still have fun as well, because they may be limited due to them not having a regular workout regimen. And that might sound crazy, but people with fibromyalgia and rheumatoid arthritis and lupus, they do need a regular workout regimen, because it helps. Even though you in chronic pain, that workout is going to give you more range, and it's going to help the inflammation go down and all of the things. So it's nice for you to have. Next slide, please. Okay. Is to foster a support community. So this is a mission. The mission of Lupus Has No Face is to foster a support community for those impacted by lupus, right? So my goal, or the team goal, is to supporting lupus patients, raising public awareness, providing education, equipping individuals, empathizing, self-care, and health education, building community, and empowering individuals. How are we doing that? So I did the work, right? I was diagnosed with it. I went through all of the things. I didn't want to deal with it. I was in denial. I hid, I lied, I did all of the things that people are going through. So I accepted it. I educated myself. I got a team of doctors that is taking very good care of me. Um, Now I done lost my hair. I done had skin lesions. I done went through all of the things. So I educated myself enough so I can go out into the community. And not only that, I've been a nurse since 2008. So I have the credentials that I need to go out here and be of help to the community and teach them how to live well with lupus. And again, it comes with learning your triggers. You got to know what you can and cannot eat. Your body is going to tell you. It's going to swell up. You're going to be fatigued. You're going to have a headache. Your vision is going to be blurry. It's going to tell you. And at that time, journal for a week, journal for 2 weeks, because it's going to help you down the line, right? And as a community, you guys are my community. You guys specialize in what it is that you do. You know what it is that you do. You're very educated in what it is that you do, and you're coming to be a part of this fifth annual information to deliver the message, amongst other things, in the community, so we can bring awareness to lupus. It's not put out there enough in our community and for our skin color. We talk about mental health, we talk about cancer, but lupus is one of those things that you're going to see a lot of people walking around with it, and people have no idea what they have access to, the type of medication they have access to, the holistic things that they can do to live a better life. The workout regimens, like Chrissy, what she done been through, and hear a story, they may look at her and like, you never went through nothing a day in your life, and her body is banging, right? But she went through things. She has the education behind her in order to teach us and help us, from ground zero. So she has exercises that she can show us warriors to do when we are in pain. The point is to continue to keep moving, right? So we need a team, and you guys are here to help me deliver that message. Okay, so right now I'm going to pause for a minute. I am going to have before I do that, do you guys have any questions for me? No? Okay, perfect. I'm going to pause. I'm going to have Miss Craig come up with a poem, and then we'll be coming up with the next speaker.
So my name is Treva Gray. I am a poet, a mental health advocate, and a self-published author. Primarily what I write about is just sitting around myself and working on the piece called Freedom is the feeling after not justify your no. Not explain your decisions even when society, employers, and sometimes our doctors require us to do so. And that's why this warrior right here is getting a divorce. As of now. That's right, anxiety. I'm divorcing you. You no longer get to project on me what you've been through. And I'm tired. Not and I'm tired. Tired of worrying about you. You bring depression upside to fear, hopelessness, self-doubt. And that's just the name of you. See, we've been together all my life. Graduated elementary, middle, and even high school. And I tried to see you when I went off to college, but you used to let me go. So I started. That's right. I found myself. And if I can be honest, we've been thinking about it now. We used to link every Tuesday about 5:45, maybe 6:15 at the latest. And she never fails. She's faithful. She's never late. She's my third. And she also reminds me that I have PTSD, and I kindly remind her that my positive thinking will stop that. Thank you all so much. You know that, one diagnosed or one side with that. There are so many symptoms that come with everything else. I'll probably be back on towards the end. I don't have lupus. I have fibromyalgia, but that's also.
Thank you. That was such a dope poem. I received that, right? That was strong. The next speaker that will be coming up is Rachel B. She will be talking about lupus and skin, and she's a licensed skin care therapist.
Hello, how's everybody doing today?
Hey.
Okay, thank you for having me here. Thank you for this amazing opportunity. So when I got asked to speak, I just kept asking like, okay, what exactly do you want me to pinpoint? Because honestly, just like lupus has no face, skincare is not one size fit all. It depends on where you're at in your lupus journey. It depends on what type of lupus you have. The main thing to understand is everything you put in your body reflects back on your skin. And your skin is actually the first thing that's going to tell you when you're sick if you just pay attention to it. And that's for any type of disease, even beyond lupus. So number one, you want to focus on more active, like natural ingredients. You don't want to keep, I know we see the TikToks and they tell us to try this, try that. Oh, it worked for me. Remember that everything that works for other people may not work for you. You have to really start, especially as we get older, we really have to start taking the time to read ingredients of stuff. What are they putting in? How much are they putting in? Where is it coming from? A lot of things that are aggressive are not good for people with lupus. So when people are like, oh, I want a chemical pill, that's why good estheticians, good dermatologists, they're going to ask you, what are you doing at home? What are you putting in your body? What are you using on a daily basis? Like, what are your triggers? Like she talked about having triggers. There's triggers in skincare. You have to know what makes your skin break out, what irritates your skin. It's so important and so valuable. And I always tell people I'm going on a strong age of 38 in about a month. Okay. But so the older I get, you just realize a lot of stuff starts to change. So what worked for you when you were 17 may not work for you now. So when you have somebody, people get upset with me because I'm a big stickler about, I'm not just gonna do something to your skin just because you're gonna pay me. So there's no way you walking into my room on the first time of me meeting you and you gonna lay on my bed and I'm giving you a chemical pill. And I know absolutely nothing about your skin, but we live in a society where everything is microwavable. Everybody wants this flawless glass clean that don't exist, by the way. It's a filter, baby. It's not real. Healthy skin has a texture. Okay. You know what I'm saying? I always compare skincare to working out. My girl Chrissy in the room, she knows you can't go to the gym one day and then think you're going to look like her. It ain't going to happen. You might not even go to the gym for a year and look like her. You might need time because my body is different from her body. And it goes about what I'm putting into it and what's working for me, because even if you go off your blood type, certain vegetables don't work for certain blood types. So you have to learn that too, because you might be like, well, I'm eating greens every day. I'm eating all these good vegetables. I'm drinking my vegetables and I'm trying to figure out what's going on with my body. It might not flow with your blood type. That's how deep it is when it comes to self-care. It's beyond what people show you. It's beyond what social media has taught us. We be on social media university thinking we learned something. Okay, when you really got to focus on you and your body. And with skincare and lupus, you really have to know, are you having any type of lesions that's popping up on your skin? That might not be the best time to go get a facial. Now you need to figure out, talk to a dermatologist and see, hey, what can we do about these first before I just lay down and get a facial? Estheticians, we are licensed. We do go to school, but we are not doctors. No matter what they tell you, they are not doctors, okay? We cannot diagnose your skin. We can only tell you what we see and what we know. And we can make suggestions to get on a track to make your skin better. But it takes time, consistency, and really, like I said, just like the gym, 95% of it is what you're going to do at home. The rest is just me leading you in the right direction. You know what I mean? If you don't do anything at home, then there's nothing I can do about it. I have a son who has acne. He has like stage 2 acne. He's only 17. We know they hard-headed, right? Every couple of weeks, he like, can you just get these blackheads out my face? Sir, you have acne. Until you change the way you eat and you actually take your skin routine serious and you wash them pillows more than once every 2 years, you're gonna have acne. And that's just the facts. Every time you eating pizza, you ordering burgers, you don't want to eat none of the food we cook at home, you have a whole separate meal, sir, you want acne. So until you tell yourself I no longer want acne, you're just gonna be bumpy face. There's nothing I can do. I can't just take 2 blackheads out when you got 80. You got to work on yourself from the inside out. It's all about what you do for yourself. And don't let lupus cripple you. What I love about her story is that, like I told her, when I see her, I'm like, I would have never even thought, but lupus has no face. I have a little cousin with lupus. Lupus has no face. You know what I mean? So it's all about how you treat yourself. And that's where that self-care come in, that consistency, that motivation to not to be sick. Don't let the doctors tell you something and stick with it. You have to do the research. You have to figure it out. That's why they always say, you want to hide something from a black person, put it in a book. You got to read up on your sickness, seriously. And you have to learn. And you have to learn about it. You have to learn what your blood type is. You know, I was reading that one day at the beginning of this year, and I was like, Rachel, what is your blood type? I'm like, I've been doing skincare. I don't even know my blood type. I had to go look it up, and then I was like, you ain't even supposed to be eating peanut oil. Now, how much stuff do I eat with peanut oil in it? A lot. Some people ain't, depending on your blood type, you're not even supposed to be eating chicken, baked, or anything. No matter how healthy it is. Your blood type might not be working with what you're eating, and you could be eating healthy. Some people not supposed to have no type of green vegetables. So it just depends. It's all about learning yourself and actually being committed to what you want your outside to look like. But it definitely, no matter what you do, starts from the inside. Skincare starts from the inside. You eat your skincare. It's not just about what you put on your face. So that's what I have for y'all. Thank y'all for having me.
Yes, you are. Thank you.
I know I'm sliding this mic to somebody.
She was the bomb, wasn't she? Y'all know y'all skin type? By the raise the hand, how many people know they skin type? They blood type. Okay. Oh. So see, I challenge y'all, the ones that do not know they blood type. I challenge the ones that do not know their blood type to figure out what y'all blood type is.
So wait, is there specific tests that need to be requested for?
Yeah.
You will be shocked on the stuff that you can't eat. You know, your blood type. Please, chicken don't be on my list.
Feeling nauseated and everything. So y'all got some homework to do. In the near future, you know, you might want to know what your blood type is. You might want to know what your blood type is. Hey, how you doing?
Do what you want.
I'm good. Thank you for coming. Okay, you guys, we have Sarita. She will be up next speaking about what to do when the doctors cannot help you. She has a whole line of holistic, I call it everything, right? Because she's dibbling and dabbling in everything. She's dibbling and dabbling in everything. So without further ado, Miss Sarita.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate you.
You're welcome.
And can we all just give her a round of applause, please? Because it takes make sure I'm here. It takes a lot to do these type of events. And it also is very stressful on your body and everything as well, too. So on top of the fact that you're doing all this, you're still making sure that you're taking care of yourself and everything as well, too. Checking on us, making sure that we're good and everything. So that's why I want to make sure we clap for you, because this is a lot. So thank you for taking the time out and doing this for all of us.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So Today, I'm going to be talking with you all about what to do when the doctors can't help you. I have my own personal journey, and I'm going to go ahead and try to go as quick as I can for you guys because I want to be, conscious of everyone's time. But my journey with chronic pain actually came to the forefront after I was in a bad car accident. I was rear-ended by a drunk driver at a stoplight. I was in the area where the speed limit was 25. She was going at least 60. So you can imagine the impact not only on my vehicle, but also on my body, where then I became a science experiment for close to 2 years, going to all these different doctors and specialists. They can, take a look at me, and all they will do is just give me an additional pill. In the middle of my journey, I was on roughly about 7 or 8 medications, and I was rapidly declining. I finally got the opportunity to see an orthopedic surgeon that said, hey, let me run some more tests. I started to laugh at him because I said, that's all y'all do anyways. So I said, fine, if you find something, great. If you don't, it is what it is. He ended up doing an MRI and CT and discovered that I had bone chip spurs going into my nerve in my shoulder. And to imagine how it was affecting my body, you know how when your foot falls asleep, you have that pins and needle feeling? Imagine that throughout your whole entire body and also feeling like you're on fire at the same time. That's what I was going through. And so he said, well, we've discovered what it is. We're going to go ahead and schedule for surgery. Well, when he scheduled me for surgery, he said, okay, we're going to have to do this right away, which turned to a 4-month wait. And so in between that, unfortunately, my mother fell ill. And I ended up actually losing my mother a month before my surgery. Now, the irony of that is that my mother was a retired orthopedic nurse, so a perfect person to actually be taking care of me. Also, she was a midwife as well, too, prior to that. And so I had to go through the process of planning a funeral because the week prior to my mother's transition also happened to be my parents' 55th wedding anniversary. So my father completely shut down and I had to step in. I'm also an only child. So from there, had the surgery. After the surgery, I ended up losing the motor functions in my right hand. So now I had to relearn how to write, brush my teeth, comb my hair. And then, of course, on top of that, I'm still in pain and also take care of the 3 children that I have at home as well. And I was also divorced the year prior. So see how everything's kind of coming together there? So then from there, went through the physical therapy and everything. Finally was going to see another specialist that looked at me and said, you know what, there's really, nothing that I can basically do, for you. Number one, like Savannah mentioned, you don't look like you're in pain. I was actually in a flare at the time. I didn't have any makeup on or anything. I just took a shower and I found out to discover that a lot of the doctors and specialists are not culturally competent. And so therefore they don't understand things that will go on in a melanated family. And so for one of the things being that my mother always taught me, I don't care how you feel, make sure you take a shower, make sure your drawers are clean. You never know if you have an accident. Don't tell me your granny ain't never said that to you. Make sure you're clean. Right. So all those things that, you have to basically, take care of. And so I ended up then from there going to another specialist that had looked at me and my middle child, I had natural childbirth. And so I was up walking around within 10 to 15 minutes, which I do not recommend, but that's just how my body, bounced back at that time. And so he looked at my file and goes, oh, I noticed that you had your middle child natural childbirth. I don't understand how you can be in so much pain right now. Whoa. Now think about that. Number one, you're a man, and no offense to the gentleman in the room, but you have never had a menstrual cycle. You have never given birth to a child. So you have no idea what that feels like. Not to mention you're comparing apples to oranges. So how can you compare childbirth, which that pain is going to stop, versus something that's ongoing and you don't even know where the root is of what's ongoing? And so after that time frame, I went home, and about a couple days later, my son went to school. I'm sitting at home with my, I take it back. I just took the other kids to school, and I sat down, and I started to cry. I started to pray, and I started to meditate, because I was at the point where I was like, you know what, these kids be better off. I need to see my mom. Like, that's where my mind literally was at, because that was my best friend. So then from that moment, all of a sudden my phone dinged, and it was a message, and it was a deeper message. Why haven't you researched what you've been diagnosed with to see what other alternatives are available? Because clearly this is killing you. And so I went through the process from there, and that's where I, discovered different things that I could do to be able to take care of my body. And so I began looking at my nutrition, my stress management, trauma processing, because I had a lot that had happened in my life that I did not process. And so it was manifesting in my body and coming out as other things. Then I also reincorporated movement back into my life, because prior to my accident, I actually worked out 6 days a week. Truman McGee was my trainer, okay? So I was getting tired of fitness before all the funky fresh was going on. So from that moment, I was like, okay, I need to start moving my body again. And it took me roughly about 4 months to do so, but I was able to get off of all the medications I was on. So at that point, I was on 15 medications, upwards of 30 pills a day, and I was bedridden. And so then from there, I went ahead and, went back to school, and I became a certified health and life coach, a transformational coach. Also, going through the process of a medical cannabis certification as well, too. So there's a lot of things I'm doing, integrated somatic trauma therapy, but all these things because of the fact of finding out that there really was not someone to help me that looked like me. I will go to all these different doctors and specialists. And actually at the very end, when I was in pain management protocol, that was the first time I saw a person of color outside of my primary care physician. That was the first time I seen a person of color, but I had already given up at that point. And when I saw her, I said, she was maybe working about a month. And I said, I'm happy to see you here, but this is the last time you're seeing me, because I've been in the system too long. And whatever you're doing to me, it's not helping anything. It's making things worse for me. And I need to be here for my children. And, when it got to that point where I had a specialist tell me, like I said before, you need to get your power of attorney paperwork together. Your son that's 18 now needs to take care of you and your other 2 children while he's still supposed to be going to college on a football scholarship. Make it make sense. So like I said, that's why I'm doing the things that I'm doing now, but also showing others how to be able to go ahead and move forward in their journey. And so one thing is, of course, the problem with conventional medicine. I just mentioned about the testing. You just feel like a lab rat. You feel like you're just constantly being poked and prodded. And then on top of that, too, when you're getting the test results back, 9 times out of 10, they're going to say it's normal. Okay. So we all know that is not normal, because our bodies are telling us that there's something wrong. And so we have to go ahead and make sure we're documenting that information. So that way we can go ahead and share that and say, hey, this is what's going on, but then also looking for additional ways to then go forward with the information you have. And the thing is that it's hard when they're sitting here saying to you that, everything is fine, when we all know that everything is not fine. And so that's why it's good when we have the different support systems like we have right now to be able to go ahead and help us as far as we're moving forward. And so functional health, of course, looks also different as well, which is my next topic here, as far as for how that can be for you. It can be, looking at your lifestyle, environment. We also talked about like nutritional impacts as well, too. So I'm making sure I'm not going over the same things everyone else is going over as well, too. But you want to make sure that you're functioning, over your diagnosis, and also being able to go ahead and see how you can look forward to things, which I know we're going to be having mental health, aspects that we're going to be talking about as well, too. And then you also want to, as you said, understanding your triggers, understanding your body signals, being able to say, hey, you know what? I noticed that my gut is not doing what it's supposed to. I'm noticing that I might have like a leaky gut situation going on. It might be that I have inflammation. It might be toxins that are in my body that I'm not aware of that have just been going on constantly. It can also be the stress, and then also nutrient imbalances as well, too. That can also be affecting you. And you want to make sure that you're addressing those by actually looking at the unconventional things. So for example, looking at what you're putting into your body, looking at how you are processing your stress. You have a stress management routine. What does a routine look like for you? What does your day-to-day look like? All those pieces are things that will help you as far as for being able to go ahead and move forward for yourself. Also, too, being able to have like a new healing framework for yourself. For myself personally, when I'm working with clients, I have 4 pillars that I work with. I work with being able to go ahead and replenish as far as for nourishing your body with real food, rest, and nutrients. I also look at restoring. That means as far as for having the harmony between your gut and also your detox systems as well, too, and your body. Also rewiring, managing your stress, and also looking at your thought patterns. A lot of times when you have different things going on, you might start to talk bad to yourself. Your internal talk might not be where it's supposed to be at. I had a situation last week where I was having, some body things going on. I'm like, well, wait a minute. I'm like, this is, I just started talking horrible to myself. And I had to interrupt that pattern and be like, wait a minute, hold on. Number one, pause. Who is that talking there? That's not your voice. That's someone else's voice that has come to you, that's coming back from the past, that's telling you these things that are not really true. What are the things that I have actually done? I've actually did this today. I got up, I took a shower. I made my bed. I was able to make a smoothie this morning. Okay, now I'm gonna take a nap. Even though if you're taking a nap, but still, you're going ahead and doing those things and paying attention to your body and doing what you need. Also, too, rebuilding. You want to be able to go ahead and repair, because the thing is that damage and even just, things that have been happening over time, you have to allow yourself to have that time to process everything. So you want to be able to go ahead and remember that as well, too. And also, I think we've also mentioned it too, it's not a one-size-fits-all solution for any of this at all. And that's the biggest piece, that oftentimes when you're going to different doctors and specialists, they're trying to say, like, they want to just give you this particular pill. You can see in my area over there, I actually have the bottles of all 15 medications that I was on at the time, just to show you, because often, people are like, oh no, you don't look like what you've been through. And it's like, well, yes and no. Internal. There's a lot of stuff going on internally that I've had to work through to be able to go ahead and be, here. And that's the things that I'm absolutely. And that's the things that I'm also, sharing with others as well, too. And the thing about it to consider is that it's something that you can start whenever you want to. The first thing is making a decision. And everyone in this room has made that decision by being here today, that you want to go ahead and see something different and try something different. So that's one of the biggest pieces right there. Also, too, when you're looking at that, like I mentioned before, looking at your nutrition. One thing that I discuss a lot with my clients is an anti-inflammatory lifestyle. Being able to go ahead and look at, unfortunately doesn't have dairy, which that was a struggle for me initially when I went through that process, because we're in Wisconsin. It's hard to be able to look at things that, have the dairy, have the cheese, all the things. We got Culver's around the corner. You got all these things that you want to look at. And then, of course, having my children. I actually have a different, I eat differently as far as nutrition-wise versus my kids. And that was the struggle, initially. But then for them to be able to go ahead and see that, well, wait a minute, I'm seeing how mom is being able to progress because of this. Let me start trying these things and seeing it. And it even got to a point, I'll tell a funny story too, and I think I might tell Savannah that my son, I told him, I said, dude, I don't want you eating that crap in my house. So he would sit in his car and actually eat like this stuff, because I told him, I said, you can't bring this in here. I said, I said, I'm not paying you. He was working, of course. I said, that's your money. You do what you want to, but I'm going to show you that. I said, this is what we do in here. You do that in there. But then he also, when I did catch him, he was like, Ma, this is dumb. Like, why? Because I said to him, like, number one, you could have ate this there. Like, why'd you even drive home to even do like, it just didn't make any sense. But, nonetheless, it's being able to, though, have that harmony, like I said, once again, and understand, I guess, kids can, be kids, but you can also introduce things to them as well, too, to try to make it easier for yourself. And of course, as I kind of have my buddy over here doing some mindfulness as well, too, making sure you're taking some time for yourself, even if it's just 5 minutes. Being able to go ahead and do some breath work, for example, which can help to calm down your nervous system, which is something that unfortunately ends up being out of whack due to the different things that are going on as far as when it comes to lupus, fibromyalgia, any of the chronic conditions as well. It does affect your nervous system. Let me see here. And I already mentioned that. And also prioritizing your rest and your sleep. When you are not getting enough rest and sleep, you already know how your body reacts. For me, I have to make sure I can't have less than 5 hours of sleep. That's just one thing that I know for myself. If I have less than 5 hours, that means I could possibly have a migraine. I could possibly have a flare. Like, there's so many different things that could be ramifications from it. So that's why I have to make sure. And that's where it kind of comes back to, once again, paying attention to your body, seeing what it's doing, being able to go ahead and write down those things. I know that Savannah actually has her journal that you can actually go ahead and be able to purchase, where you can actually write that information down and be able to go ahead and see that for yourself. And so it's things like that you want to do, because in that way you can see what the patterns are. And 9 times out of 10, you'll recognize them from over years. Like, I even can look back on patterns for 10 years, 5 years, just based off of me documenting those things. And not only just the physical, but also the mental aspects as well, too. So that way you can kind of know when those different things are going to be coming around again for yourself, too. And of course, hope is real. Yeah. Not to toot my own horn, I'm a walking medical miracle. Okay. I walk around every day, and I have those moments where I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm like, this is just, whatever, and then I'm like, well, wait a minute. And I'm not going to jump on anybody's toes about their religion or anything, but I'm just going to say that, God chose me for a reason to be here. he chose me to show what I've gone through, to show others that they can also be able to go ahead and move forward too. My journey is not, different from anyone else's. I'm not, more special than, and I know that was a double negative. I'm not more special than anyone else, but it's like just to be able to go ahead and share that and say, hey, you know what? I have done these things. I have been able to go ahead and move forward. I am able to go ahead and show others as well too. But that's because it's what was given to me and put on me to be able to go ahead and move through and share with others. And so I just want to say, number one, thank you to everyone once again for being here. Thank you for putting yourselves first. That's a big thing for us in our community. A lot of times, we're so used to taking care of others that we don't take the opportunity to take care of ourselves. We don't look at what our dreams, our aspirations, or any of those things are. And I want you to know that just because you've received a diagnosis, you are not your diagnosis. You might hear me say, and I say to myself, I say, I've been diagnosed with this. I don't say I have anything. I don't have fibromyalgia. I don't have degenerative disc disease. I don't have chronic migraines. I've been diagnosed with these things. I can go ahead now and move forward, because you have to separate yourself from that diagnosis, because that diagnosis could kill you. Just mentally. Absolutely. See, look. Look. So, absolutely. So, in conclusion here, I just want to, like I said, grateful, thankful to all of you. I'm definitely here if you want to come over and talk to me. As far as for my business wise, I'm chronically resilient. You might be familiar with the voice, Jammin' 98.3. That's what Sarita said. That's me on a daily basis, that you might hear me as well too. So these are all those different things. And I want to be able to go ahead and come and help out. So if you need anyone to come and do workshops, webinars, lunch and learns, let's talk. Let's go ahead and continue this healing in our community. Love y'all. Thank you.
Oh my God. Thank you. Lord. That was a lot, right? Oh my God. So you can never judge a book by its cover. You never know what they are going through, what they went through, and what they are dealing with, right? Thank you so much for that. And it's so dope to have so many beautiful, powerful people in this room that's living in their truth and comfortable in their truth, to be able to communicate that to us, to the community, because we're being touched in different ways, right? Okay, so the next speaker that we have up is going to be Dr. Ashley Dedrick, MD. She's actually my dermatologist. She's the one who got me together.
Hi, I'm Dr. Ashley Dedrick. I'm a board-certified dermatologist with Forefront Dermatology in Wauwatosa and Menominee Falls, Wisconsin. I'm here today to talk about lupus and how it's related to the skin. Lupus is an autoimmune disease that can affect any organ, including the skin, hair, nails, as well as kidneys, blood, joints. The initial signs and symptoms can be nonspecific and a little bit confusing. Lupus predominantly affects women, and unfortunately, women with skin of color tend to be more affected than Caucasian women. Lupus can come in many forms, and sometimes it only affects the hair or the skin, but other times it can affect the internal organs inside the body, and this can be quite serious. All forms of lupus are chronic, and there's no known cure, but there are many treatments available that allow patients to improve their quality of life and help them treat any symptoms that they may have. Especially with hair loss and skin concerns, there can be scarring, such as discoid lupus, and this is very important to make the diagnosis early and start treatment early. If you or a loved one is suffering with hair loss, discoloration, new rashes, and have symptoms such as fatigue or unexplained weight loss, joint pain, swelling, things like that, please see your primary doctor or see a dermatologist like me to see what may be going on, because it might be lupus and it might be important to start that conversation now. I want to thank Savannah and the Lupus Has No Face organization for bringing awareness and helping to enact change for those who are living with lupus. If you want to see me as a private patient, please visit forefrontdermatology.com for either Wauwatosa or Menominee Falls, or visit my Instagram page at detrickderm.nd. Thanks and have a great day.
How everyone is doing? Everybody's good? Any questions? Everybody, okay. So next we'll be having Coach Chrissy.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm ready.
We having Coach Chrissy, my girl. She specialized in a host of things. One she loves is post. What is it?
Prenatal and postnatal.
There you go. Prenatal and postnatal. Okay, so she will be talking about how important having a workout regimen while dealing with an invisible illness is important.
Yes.
Okay. So thank you.
So, as you know, I'm Coach Chrissy, and she told me to give y'all a workout today. Y'all okay with that? It won't be nothing too much. She eating that sub. Not too much. So I feel like let's just stand up. Stand up. It ain't gonna be. I'm not gonna do nothing too extra, y'all. I'll say that for when you see me in person. Okay, just for now. It's gonna go down easy after this. Okay. So one of the things we really focus on with lupus is you want to make sure you have a workout regimen. And that don't have to be something that's really, really just crazy. I talk to my women all the time and let them know that working out is something that keep my heart going, your blood flow, and you bring oxygen to all of your major organs. So it can be easy as some jumping jacks. Now remember, sometimes when you flared up with lupus, you might not be able to move around like you want to. So we always provide modified workouts, right?
That's right.
Okay. So if I was getting ready to do jumping jacks and I have a flare up, I would take my time and I would focus on moving right and left. You don't have to do all the jumping when I'm in a flare up. Okay. If I wanted to do squats, but again, I'm flared up, so my body is in pain, what I will really focus on is grabbing me a chair. Am I off camera now? Okay. Not really. I would grab me a chair, and instead of trying to get as deep as I would usually do when I'm not flared up, I really focus on sitting in my chair and get up. Sit in my chair and get up. And I don't know, y'all, I'm old enough now too. Y'all remember the PBS when we used to laugh? Well, I used to laugh at the older people that was doing the cheer workouts.
Right.
Yeah, look. Whole time, one day, I was just like, I'm a little tired, so I'm gonna do these cheer workouts. I was like, so the whole time it was really working out. But it was funny to me because I'm like, why are they working out in the chair? Right? So I don't have my resistant band because I left it in the car. But if y'all know what a resistant band is, there's some thicker ones that's like a cloth kind, but there are also some that are like a latex. I will put that latex one right around my ankles, and I will sit in a chair again, and I will my leg out, moving in. Now the significance and resistant bands, a lot of people don't know, is they work your smaller muscles. So those smaller muscles are those anchor muscles that kind of hold up the large ones. So when I'm in a flare up, usually those larger muscles are going to really be painful, right? So I would grab me a resistant band and really work on my small muscles. And the reason why, if I work on my small muscles, of course you get more definition. And if you notice, I don't know if anybody been in rehab for any body ligaments or anything like that, they really focus on those resistant bands because you building and strengthening those smaller muscles, okay? So resistant band, take your time because this ain't no race, no way. This is a marathon. Slow and steady. Take your time when you're working out and understanding that everything is a process. I think a lot of times we really, really focus on the outer portion of the body, and that's not it. Rachel hit that, and then my sister in the back, she hit that too. Inside. So I'm gonna take a little turn with this. I'm gonna really go even deeper with this. Targeting our gut. If I focus on my gut health first, that's when I'm really, really rectifying the issue. Okay? And remember, this is also a mindset. The body achieves what the mind believes. And I say this all the time because it's true. We can speak so many things into our life until we wonder, why am I consumed in all this chaos? Because it's our thoughts that matter. Now, if I think about my thoughts
usually land here because this is where my emotions lie. Did y'all know that? The gut. My gut is where every emotion lies. So that's sadness, fear, anxiety. It can even be joy and peace, but you have to feed your spirit to be able to pull those things out. Okay? So if my thoughts are all over the place, and that goes to watching people in your circle, right? Watching people around you, making sure I'm aligning myself with divine connections in this season, because it all plays on your body. So if I'm around messy behavior, if I'm around people that's talking about people all the time, if I'm around people that see people, innocent people out there, and I'm laughing at a person because they don't have a leg or they going through issues, then of course I'm going to digest those things because it's all in my mind first, right? So from my mind, I'm digesting it into here. And then from there, it's going to go to my pelvic floor, right? From my pelvic floor, I give birth, right? So I can give birth to hope or hopelessness, depending on what I start in my mind and what I digest into these emotions. So in this season, it's really good to do some soul searching to make sure that I am digesting the right things. So that could be your spirituality. That could be cleaning up things that you have went through past traumas in your life, past trauma that generations you don't even know about. So it's good to find out your family history as well. Why am I going through all of these emotions? Why am I feeling like this? Why is my mind always wavering back and forth? Because when you figure out those things, then I know what I need to heal from. I know what I need to pray about. I know what I need to do some soul searching about, okay? So when I target my flesh, because in the flesh dwelling no good things, and I'm sorry I'm going here.
Okay. Okay.
So if I'm feeding my flesh with negativity, if I'm feeding my flesh with all these cares of the world, because they get that. You can be consumed with the cares of the world. You can be consumed with things on your job and not even knowing when you're in a service. So you could be a nurse, a doctor, a teacher, a coach. When you're in service, you take on people's spirits because they constantly pull on you for different things, right? They constantly want to talk to you, and people can be putting things on you, not physically knowing, but what they talking to you about, the traumas they done went through. And you kind of take on those things. So if you're not constantly refilling your cup, then you're going to grow empty. And so when I grow empty, that's when I get to talking to myself negative. Today is a horrible day. Oh my God, I'm just so sick of this and I'm so sick of that. And so that's me talking negativity into my life, and then I'm digesting it. Then I'm birthing it, and I'm wondering why I'm living in complete chaos. So, yep, and you start to believe it. So when I really, really focus on changing my surroundings, changing the way I think about things, find a root problem in my life, and that can be see you a therapist, bro. Making sure you take care of that mental first and watch how it changes your body, because like I said, emotions lie here. And so when I'm having a flare up, a lot of times a flare up might not even be nothing that I'm putting in my body. Physically, it could be spiritually what I'm taking on. So if we get to the root cause of the things in our life, as far as nurturing our body. So when I'm eating the proper things, if you notice, my mindset is a lot different. But if I'm eating anything greasy, I heard somebody say when they have pork, they have bad dreams, have nightmares. Have you ever heard that? Mm-hmm. Somebody told me that. I don't know, right? I don't know about it, but I never paid attention to it. But nurturing your body, okay? Vitamins that I should be taking with lupus, zinc, immune, right? Vitamin C. We live in Wisconsin, so we got some sun today, but who knows about tomorrow. So make sure you take your vitamin C, okay? Other things that I want to make sure I want be taking is I want to take my vitamin D. That is for my bone health, okay? So with your flare-ups and stuff like that, you want to make sure you're taking that vitamin D for your bone health. I had more, y'all. I'm sorry I had to take that twist.
Okay.
The next thing I want to really focus on is the mind. So when I'm having those days, if I have a flare up, of course, my mindset that day might not be good. I might be tired and I might not just want to be bothered. Meditation can help with that, okay? So finding you a place where you can meditate, where you can clear your mind is key. Another thing you want to do is, I don't know about you, but lately prayer been really, really showing up in my life. So you really want to focus on your spirituality, okay? Because if I can really, really target my spirit, then the flesh, I have to be quiet. You know what I mean? My husband just did Ramadan. And to me, that was one of the most amazing things I've seen, because you literally cannot eat while the sun up. So I'm just like, when you trying to shut your flesh up, sometimes you have to fast. And when you fast, and then you able to do things more spiritually, because what else can you count on? I can't have nothing to eat right now. Yep. So you have to learn that discipline. And if you pay attention, the discipline really have to do with your spirit, not your mindset. It's really with your spirit. So he did Ramadan. I think that was 30 days. And he did not eat anything. And he worked really hard. He didn't eat anything or drink anything while he was on Ramadan, while the sun is up. And I was just like, I should try this. But I wasn't able to try, y'all. I ain't gonna even lie. So I left that to him. I thought about it though. Next time. So really, really getting in touch with your spirit, with your soul, is really gonna take you a long way. Okay, make sure you really, really focus on moving your body, no matter what that might be for you. You might not be able to do the whole workout. 30 minutes is good enough. But making sure you really get that meditation in there, and make sure you really, really speak to your spirit in this season. And that's all I have for you.
That was a lot. That was a lot.
Oh, my last thing. Remember, you can birth hope or hopelessness. Okay, depending on how you feed your body, your spirit, and your flesh. Okay.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
That was amazing. Thank you. So you guys, how many people knew that? Birth hope or hopeless? You ever heard of that? No? What's your takeaway on that? You like that? Did you know that? Huh? Yeah. Did you know that discipline come from spirituality versus mindset? I thought it was always mindset. So she taught me something new today. Y'all knew that? I didn't know that. So if you guys are looking to start working out, having a baby, giving birth, after birth, postpartum, or just implementing that in you guys' life, she's the person to talk to. Okay. The next speaker that we will be having up is Dr. Erica. She will be talking about lupus and infertility. Hey, girl.
Hi. Can you hear me? Is my mic on? Maybe.
I think I can hear you. Can you hear her?
I'm loud anyway.
Okay, there we go.
You can hear me. I don't need this mic. So good afternoon. So my name is Dr. Erica McKinney. In the community, I'm known as Dr. E. You can call me Dr. E. You can call me Erica. I'm not one of those doctors. But a little bit about me. I am a licensed reproductive health psychologist. So what does that mean? Basically, I work with people as they're trying to get pregnant, during their pregnancy, and then after they've had a baby. I'm a Milwaukee native. And so my journey to becoming a reproductive health psychologist was all over the place. But basically what I landed on is Milwaukee is one of the most diverse but segregated cities in the country. That's no secret. Milwaukee has one of the poorest maternal fetal health outcomes in the country. No secret. And there aren't a lot of psychologists who are licensed who can work in reproductive health who look like me. And why does that matter? Because as so many people have talked about today, having someone who's a healthcare professional that looks like you makes you feel safe. It does not change the fact that you are at the doctor, but it can change the level of safety and vulnerability that you have. So in my work, I work with a lot of folks who are having a hard time getting pregnant. And oftentimes that can be due to numerous medical conditions. One of my interests, though, is working with individuals who are having a hard time getting pregnant because they have a medical diagnosis that is making it difficult to become pregnant. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So, for example, I see a lot of Black women with PCOS, endometriosis, endometriosis, fibroids, painful periods, lupus, arthritis. And so what we know is from a research perspective, because I'm also a researcher, so I am a professor at the Medical College of Wisconsin, is that there's a correlation or there's a connection between having a health diagnosis that directly impacts someone's fertility. Now, what really had me interested in working in reproductive health is as Black and brown women, we are over-sexualized. What does that mean? People think that we are just supposed to, boom, get pregnant. Boom, have a baby, right? And we think about the generations before us, right? Where our grandmas had 10 kids, pop, 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 right? Like you got 10 uncles from the age of 50 to 60. How? Right? But we know that it's not that necessarily grandma did not have a hard time getting pregnant. There wasn't a name for it. There was no testing for it. There was nothing to look at it. And now we're looking at it. And so for me in my work, I work with women who are at this intersection, or birthing people who are at this intersection. Interestingly, how me and Savannah actually got connected was my cousin had actually posted something about me being a reproductive health psychologist, and Savannah reached out and said, wait, like you can speak about lupus and fertility? And I was like, yeah, let's talk about it. And so I ended up on a podcast with her. This was in March of this?
Last month.
March. We in May. It was March? We in May.
Last month.
Okay, March 8th, whatever, and we've been stuck together since because we were talking about this connection. So as a researcher, I just want to give y'all some numbers, something to just kind of be thinking about, okay? So 1 in 1,000 white women are diagnosed with lupus. 1 in 250 African-American women are diagnosed with lupus. So from a scientific perspective, this is what we call a health disparity, right? There's something happening. There's something happening, right? And then 1 in 9,000 men, okay? Now, in thinking about mental health and lupus, what research has shown is 39% of people who have received a lupus diagnosis has reported at some point they felt depressed. 39%. Up to 80% of people who have a lupus diagnosis reported some type of change in their thinking, their concentration, or their memory. 80%. Okay? Up to 24% has reported experiencing anxiety and depression related to receiving a diagnosis. So when I hear this as a researcher, the first thing that's coming to my mind is these numbers are likely higher. And how do I know that they're higher? Is because this is just the people they're able to capture. And so when I think about the people that I know who have lupus, or the patients that I know who have lupus, one of the things that they talk about is a delay in diagnosis. A delay. 10, 15, 20 years of experiencing symptoms, and it oftentimes takes a catastrophic health event for doctors to say, oh my goodness, we have forgotten something here. So from the reproductive health perspective, a lot of what I hear is women or birthing folks have had these symptoms. They're now trying to get pregnant. They're having a hard time getting pregnant. And now they end up in my fertility clinic and they're receiving a diagnosis of lupus along with other reproductive health diagnoses. So now I want to give you some information about infertility. So we know 1 in 8 couples report having difficulty conceiving. Difficulty conceiving, by definition, is trying to conceive naturally for 12 months or more. So just imagine you meet your person, because dating is, blessed, it's hard. You meet your person, you all want to start trying to build a family. And it's going to be up to 12 months before your OB-GYN provider is going to say, go talk to a fertility specialist. That's if you have an OB-GYN provider who has the mindset that this is not normal and we need you to go see somebody who has a specialty. So imagine the emotional toll of going through having a lupus diagnosis, dealing with those symptoms, trying to build a family. Now you're grieving not only what you thought your health was going to look like, but now you're grieving what you thought getting pregnant and pregnancy was going to look like. You can conceive naturally with lupus, but what we know is that there is an increased risk for complications during a lupus pregnancy, preeclampsia being one of them. Now, if we start talking about factors or situations or things that contribute to high-risk pregnancies, you living in Milwaukee, boom, high risk. You a Black or brown woman, boom, you at high risk. You got one medical health condition, boom, you at risk. So we're talking compounded factors that are going to be contributing to a high-risk pregnancy. So I want you all just to be thinking about emotionally what that is like. The grief, the shame, the stigma, the anxiety, the depression, the suffering in silence, right? Savannah has eloquently said, lupus does not have a face. And when I heard her say that to me the first time, what I thought about is it touches us in ways that people don't even realize it. And so if you are living with something that visibly you look fine, internally you jacked up, let's be honest, right? It's going to take a toll on you. There's also this stigma associated with going to therapy. I do think that as a community of color, we are doing better with normalizing therapy. But there's an issue here. There ain't a lot of people who look like me in the city who can do this, right? So even if you get the courage to say, you know what, I ain't right inside. This is tearing me up. I need to go talk to somebody. You might have a hard time. Let's keep it. Can we listen and be honest? It's going to be hard. So then you're navigating that. And so one of the things that Savannah wanted me to offer you all is what are some tools that you can utilize to navigate these emotional aspects of lupus as well as infertility or fertility. Because I can tell you this, you can conceive with lupus, you can have a healthy pregnancy with lupus, but it will not take away the pain that came with having that baby. It's still there. And so like so many people have talked about today, having that mind, body, holistic approach, moving your body, being mindful about what you're putting in your body. One of the things that everyone keeps talking about is your gut health. Gut health, gut health, gut health. Serotonin is the hormone that helps regulate your mood and your anxiety, or your mood and your stress. And so when your serotonin is off, you're at an increased risk for anxiety and depression. A lot of the medications that are prescribed for lupus tears up your digestive tract.
Yes, it does.
It's almost counterintuitive, right? They say, I'm going to give you this medication for your pain flare, but you're going to be constipated. Or I'm going to give you this pain medication, but it's going to have you having diarrhea, right? And so you're automatically disrupting your mental health. Does that make sense?
Oh, yes.
You're automatically. So you have to use what I call preventative strategies, right? So we don't want to use what I call a firefighter approach, right? Once the fire starts brewing, you try to like throw cups of water on the fire. Every day, it's important that you are doing small things to take care of your mental wellness. Right now, there's this whole soft girl era that's being pushed on social media. And I love that. I love to be a soft girly. But to keep it real, going to the spa, getting your nails done, getting a pedicure, getting a facial, getting your hair done, that's putting a Band-Aid on a broken bone. It's making you feel better temporarily, but I'm sure after you leave your nails shop, you still gonna feel sad. You may even feel sad while you're getting your nails done, right? So you got to be intentional about doing things that edify you. I always tell my patients, because a lot of them are moms, it don't have to be a 15-step process for you to do something for yourself to feel better every day. You owe it to yourself to give yourself 5 minutes at minimum every day to find something that brings you joy. That can be making a warm cup of tea and sitting in silence. It could be literally going outside and touching the grass. That's like one of the jokes I have with my patients. I'm like, did you go outside and touch the grass today? And they're like, why would I do that? I'm like, because it grounds you. Like literally touch the grass, ground yourself. Get yourself in a different position, in a different posture, so you have a perspective that you don't typically have. So using those strategies are important. Community. We cannot do this alone. Life is lifing, and you need people in your corner. And so finding other people who look like you, who can understand when you say, today ain't the day because I don't feel well. And not for them to be like, well, what you mean? Why you don't feel well? Baby, you know I got a chronic health condition. I don't feel well. I ain't feeling it today. Or how someone said, making sure you're connected with people who don't take it offensively if you can't show up. The next strategy I want to leave you all with into kind of navigating the emotional aspects of lupus and fertility is just by a show of hands, how many of you all have ridden on an airplane before? How many of y'all have been awake before the plane takes off and the flight attendant get up there and they start doing their spiel, or y'all be knocked out? Okay, some people be knocked out. That's all right. It's been times I've been knocked out. It be times I be feeling good, so I ain't listen to what she's saying, right? But they say something really important that I want to leave you all with. So they talk about once this plane takes off, should there be turbulence, should there be something that happens that is unpredictable and the cabin pressure changes, they say mask will drop down. And they are very intentional when they say this. They say, if you are sitting next to someone, if you look to your right, if you look to your left, and you see that there is somebody who is going to struggle with putting their mask on, you put your mask on first. Because if your mask isn't on, you are no good to the people who need you.
Absolutely. Oh, I love that.
You are no good. You're no good to your children. You are no good to your partner. You ain't no good to your family, your friends, your sorority sisters, your coworkers, your clients. You're no good because you ain't gonna be here. So I leave that with you all. Remember to put your mask on first and take care of your emotional well-being. If you do not prioritize it, I can guarantee no one else will prioritize it for you. Thank you.
That was powerful, wasn't it? You got to take care of you first. You first. It's not selfish at all. No is actually a sentence, right?
Yep.
You don't need no follow-up. You don't need to explain. No is no, right? So, and no is healthy. That's boundaries. And it's okay to say no. You got to take care of you first. So we have Mr. King.
Kamasi, just a servant. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna have Kamasi come up. He's going to inform you about the natural juices that he has going on and how he can be of help and where he can be reached.
Yeah, but you know what?
Kamasi.
Come on, you know what? I appreciate you, Alex. This is my little brother right here. Peace and love, family. How we doing? You know, before I talk about my products, it's not really important. Let's talk about health as well. Because Sarita stepped up here, Rachel stepped up here, my sister stepped up here, and they said some very vital things. And one thing I got that was common about all their things is don't become a victim of the medical field's diagnosis and symptoms. You know, we're all aware that in the medical profession, they treat symptoms and they don't treat root causes. And I say that to say this, people. You see, a lot of times you go to the doctors that are supposed to be the so-called experts in their prospective studies. Now, even if they have all these degrees in front of their name and they mean well, sometimes you can't teach well if you don't know well. For instance, I've never had lupus, but I had some digestive issues. And when my sister got to talking about the digestive flare-ups, a lot of times they come from here, that sometimes have nothing to do with the foods you've consumed. You have to understand your gut is your second brain. Your first brain is your cognitive brain. Your impulse brain is within your gut. Hence, you have the terms gut feeling. See, we don't judge books by a cover, right? But you know, tell me this, people. Every time you had a bad feeling about somebody, 99.9 with the bar on top, were you correct?
Yes.
Every time. Even if you couldn't cognitively tell you what they were going to do. And you didn't want to have a negative projection of the future about it, so you sat back and didn't do anything, and lo and behold, your gut feeling was true. That being said, your gut also controls your lower impulse. On the chakra system, your gut and your reproduction, that grounds you to the earth. That also makes us creatures and animalistic in our lower self and our lower nature. Now, we always got to put God in everything. Not religion, we put God in everything. And I'm not a Christian, but in that Christian Bible, if I'm not mistaken, in Genesis, it says for every ailment, affliction, and disease that affects humanity, there's something that God, the Creator, Mother Nature, and Father Time grew right out of the earth to fix that. Now, another thing, reoccurring theme I heard today is especially with black and brown people, they try to act like we're this superhuman being that doesn't feel pain. And that comes directly from slavery. What they did to the black woman could go down horrific, more than what happened to the Jews in the Holocaust. And this is partly why the medical field today still has these misconceptions and the stereotypes. See, in 1804, slavery was outlawed by the English on the high seas. So what the American plantation owners did is some of the most inhumane things ever. They created breeding plantations. And when a woman was 13 years old, a girl was 13 years old, and I have daughters, so I'm serious about this one, and granddaughters. They would put a bag over the 13-year-old girl and put her in a stall like an animal and force her to be raped to produce more slaves because they couldn't go back to Africa to get more captives. They had to recreate them in a plantation. Now, what that did, how that translates to now, what does that have to do with now? Did my sister just talk about they act like the black woman can just have babies and it's just nothing? As if there's no pain, as if they don't go through all type of side effects and different type of conditions from that. That's a direct result from those times. Also with the black man, as if you're just a beast of burden. All right. So now that translates, you go into these doctors and you're telling them about your symptoms. And they're looking at you. How can you physically look at me and say I look fine? But you can't look with your visible eye and see my digestive tract and my 30 feet of large and small intestines or my lungs or my lymphatic system or my digestive system or my immune system. So again, you're assessing me off looks, off face value. And then when they give you these tests, they're testing your symptoms. They're not getting down to the root cause. I used to have digestive issues and went to the doctor and they did I'm 54 now. They did a colonoscopy about 4 years ago. They said, I have no polyps. I have no buildups. But I said, why when I eat this, I feel like this? Why when I go vegan or meat, it doesn't make a difference? I have these things. And then I got deeper before I even get to my products. I didn't go to school for any of this, people. I went to school for history. I had to become my own expert on my own body. There is nobody who's more of an expert in Rachel's body than Rachel, Sarita's body than Sarita, Whitney's body than Whitney, Savannah's body than Savannah. You know why? It has nothing to do with your study, not even your experience. You're the only being that's been with you since birth. So you are your qualified expert no matter what, whether you know it or not. They can't tell you what. It's almost like a bully. So real quick before I get into my products, they looked at me, my geologist, the GI tract specialist, so-called. They said, well, Mr. Idari, you have nothing. We couldn't see anything wrong. So I think what you need to do is have more fiber in your diet. And for the rest of your life, we're going to put you on Miralax. Now, here's the thing about fiber. It can hurt you or it can help you. If you're already eating a high fiber diet or a natural unprocessed diet, you don't need more fiber. Fiber bloats your stool. That's for people who eat a lot of processed food. Yeah, you eat a lot of white bread and GMO foods, you need the fiber. But if you are already eating natural and add more fiber to your diet, it can actually bloat you. All right? So when they began to say, for the rest of my life, I need to take Miralax. So you couldn't give me a diagnosis of my problem, my issue. Then I got deep into the research and found out that most of us suffer from a condition called leaky gut syndrome. And the foods we eat create these things called lectins. Research. And there was a doctor named, I believe, Stephen Gundry, who did some research. And then, of course, the great late Dr. Sebi. We have the great Dr. Leela Africa, who made it for melanated peoples, you see. So these things, lectins, you get from certain beans. And all those people think they're just ultra healthy because they're vegetarian. You can get them from wheat, gluten. You can get them from certain type of vegetables. You can get them from certain type of meats. What these lectins do is they create holes in your intestinal passages so that foods and particles of foods get into other places in your body that they need not be and cause a whole lot of disruption of your GI tract. All right. So a lot of what my sister said about the flare-ups, sometimes these things are interrelated. All right. And gut health is paramount. All right. And when we talk about lupus, thanks to Savannah and Sarita that they got me here, y'all actually made me do a whole lot of research today without even knowing. I had to find more about lupus for real, because we have to come and be transparent and totally honest with ourselves. And then we found out some things too as far as lupus is concerned. I'm sure Sarita talks about the anti-inflammatory diet. All right. Of course, we know turmeric. If you're going to do turmeric, you can, not the turmeric is cool too. You can get the powder. Try to get the turmeric root. I think Sister Angela Honeybee Sage, who's keep a Black woman owned and operated business on MLK, right? She sells the root. All right. You can also use rosemary, which also has anti-cancer fighting properties. You can use folic acid, which you find in B12 and certain meats, linseed, magnesium, evening primrose, oregano. And when I'm talking about oregano, there's 20 different types of oregano. I'm talking about the medicinal oregano, not the ones that you put on Italian food, oil of oregano. All right. But when I got deep in this research, because Savannah didn't even know, but she indirectly forced me to research these things. All right. I got to finding out certain things that even products I have that's powerful for lupus, but I also looked and say, wait a minute, some of my products might not be for lupus. And I would have known it since I researched. And just like Sister said, right, Rachel, that you might think, hey, this is healthy. Avocado is healthy. It's alkaline, but maybe it doesn't agree with your blood type. Euthanasia, they say can create, which is great. I have it in my purple bottle, which is great for immune system building and to strengthen your resistance to fighting diseases. It's not good for lupus. It might be contributed to flare-ups. Spirulina. I love spirulina. I'll have lupus. I'm going to drink my green spirulina. But for my lupus people, it might not agree with you because it can trigger flare-ups. All right? So I say that to say, even in the holistic natural remedy thing, we have to be careful and even research it because things have side effects and other type of effects. And now real quickly, what I do have that's good is not just about what I have. You can get soursop. I have a product there called Cancure that I initially was a herbal bitter made for cancer. But then my sister told me that, no, wait a minute. This got soursop. This got turmeric. These are all good for lupus. It also was something called bitter melon, bitter leaf, and it has guinea hen herb, and it has rosemary, which I told you before is also good for lupus. So that's an excellent one. The whole science of these herbal bitters is this. Our body is in a constant battle between acid and alkaline. The sugars, the starches, and processed food you break down create acidic base in your body, which can lead to flare-ups. Anything you alkaline is going to reduce the inflammation, if not kill it. What's alkaline? Things that are bitter, things that make you make that ugly face like this, like your grandmama used to say, oh, those nasty vegetables. Those are the ones you want. And now we're finding out scientific research, alkaline things and things that are sweet prevent things like cancer. Sugar feeds cancer, and sugar creates parasites. So a lot of it is common sense. You guys can make the food your medicine. So for instance, even if you don't got the herbal bitters, we just said rosemary, turmeric, oregano, you can cook your food with this. A lot of us, they always think I'm Spanish. I'm not Spanish, even though I'm on the south side. I live off the east, but they think, no, my name's not, no disrespect to my Spanish people. I'm every race. One day I'm Muhammad, the next day I'm Fernando, right? All right, I get it. I guess I'll just be everything, right? The EF, every race, or AER. All right. You guys like the yellow rice, right? And like the adobo seasoning rice. Adobo is full of food coloring. If you want to turn your rice yellow, put a teaspoon of turmeric in it. And you've medicinalized your rice. You want to flavor some of your food? So I stop being so heavy with the salt. Throw that oregano on there. Those are just simple things. Those are cheat codes to actually medically infuse your food with proper foods that can reduce the inflammation. That's what we talk about, an inflammation diet. And lastly, again, when I went to the doctor, part of it is why I felt intimidated, because I didn't tell you this part of it. So when I refused to take what my geologist told me, and it wasn't even him, the nurse practitioner, for the rest of my life, I need to take Miralax. When I refused that, I told him, well, what are some other remedies or techniques or methods? She looked at me, older white lady, pure bully, straight up, medically bully. And I'm sitting there like little me, and this big you, the big old mean expert, wicked witch of the east, west, north, and south, right? She said, well, if you're not going to take what we prescribe you, we can't help you at this clinic anymore. So y'all remember Moore's Day and the time? I respectfully did the chili sauce slide away from her, for real, because you're not going to tell me, all right? I'm coming to you for your so-called expertise, but now they're trying to bully you and tell you that or else. That's not how the medical field goes or should go. So brothers and sisters, mainly sisters, this whole place should have been packed because they don't value health in the black community. You know, they give you a diagnosis and they say, take this stuff. And like Sarita has almost 10 of those pills, jars, and everything like that. Everyone knows you go to the doctor and you take all those things that she has up there and you will surely get kidney failure. And I'm going to tell you why. So many times we went to the doctor for something that has nothing to do with kidneys. And all those pills got to get processed through a kidney that's about this big right here. And your kidney just can't stand it. And finally the kidney says, man, I can't take this no more. And your kidney shuts down, right? Just like I'm breaking down. So no, you are what you think. You are what you eat. Do not let them medically punk you, because a lot of times you say, man, I've been diagnosed as this, and already you're holding your head in that woe is me, and the whole world's coming down on you, because you got to get up and fight that, all right? You're the expert. You're the specialist. You're the herbalist. You have Google on your phone. You have nothing but time, all right? Research what you could do for you to cure you. And if you don't know, ask somebody who might know, because at the end of the day, you only have one you. And I don't think they really care about us. I think they care about numbers and money, all right? They look at you walking through that door as another experiment, as another operation, and another paycheck versus as healing somebody. The same thing with the prison industrial complex. If there's no more crime, no more people going to jail, all these places are going to lose business. If there's no more sick people, they will lose a lot of money. And the biggest dope dealers is the MA. You didn't hear from me? Yeah, you did hear from me. The Medical Association of America, the biggest pharmaceutical grade drug dealers in America. They're chemicalizing everything. So I could go on for 2 hours. I don't want to take no more time. Ashe, Abarigani. I love y'all, sisters. Keep fighting. You're your expert. That's all I got to say. You're your expert. And y'all come check with me too. Like I said, y'all don't got to pay me nothing, but come back to that table, get a free shot of something, just pay some attention. That's all I'm asking. All right, y'all? That's all I'm asking.
Thank you so much. He was a host of things, wasn't he? This what makes me so happy. So many Black and brown people are in here, so educated, coming together. You can feel that the love is very genuine. They have volunteered their time. These people get paid to speak. you know, they believe in me. They came here on my platform, and we are giving back. You are supposed to perform like it's a million people in the room if it's one person in the room, because you guys gonna go back, you're gonna go back, and it's just gonna be a full blown circle.
What do you want it?
We're teaching somebody. So again, I thank you guys again. We're not done yet. We got two more. Okay, I call her mom, right? So we're gonna have her come up here. I know he told you guys about some place on Martin Luther King Drive. She makes them fresh. They're very affordable. I had a host of them myself. They are very good. You can definitely tell the difference in her natural juices as well. Me and Chrissy go way back. Her mom, I was dealing with a whole lot of stuff. I was having some heart issues. And I didn't know what to do. I was in Chrissy's workout class. It's kind of like the last time that I was there. And I just felt comfortable telling her. She was the first person I told, even though I had a family at the time at home. And she prayed, her mom prayed, and just let's say I am here today, healthy and well. And I will forever be grateful for her. So with further ado, she will be coming up to let you guys know about her products and where you guys can find her at.
I'm Coach Chrissy, Mom, and I started the juices. I'm also a pastor. I'm pastor and founder of the City of Refuge Kingdom Community Outreach. We're in Brookfield, and we're in a temporary space until we get our place renovated. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about juice. I really got to meet with this young man because he got something that I need. Yeah. But I started the juices. We had a young lady in our church that had cancer. And one day she didn't have a way to get to her chemo. And so she called me on the phone, and she didn't ask me, but the Lord said, you take her. So when I took her, I sit there and watch everybody, with the chemo, because I'm a pastor and I'm just praying for people. And there was one man looked at me just like this, like he knew who I was. And I looked at him and I said, you're going to be fine. He said, thank you. So I sit there and watch the young lady that was at our church go through the chemo, and one thing I saw that they gave her was Benadryl. They gave her a dose of Benadryl, and she had to wait an hour. So I waited the hour with her before they gave her the chemo. So when they gave her the chemo, afterwards she got so weak, and I was like, well, Lord, what can I do, to help her? Now I'm jump real back and run back up. In 2015, I was diagnosed with Bell palsy. I was talking to my daughter and my sister on the phone, and my daughter and my son. I was living at the time because we sold my house. So anyway, all of a sudden I went in the bathroom and I was washing my face, and my eyes started burning. And I'm like, well, I got my eyes closed, what's going on? And when I looked in the mirror, my face was swollen. So they rushed me to the hospital, and they couldn't find anything. They check you for everything, every test. They put me in this little bitty machine and said, punch the button if you feel scared. And I punched the button when I got halfway in, because it was like I was too big for the machine. But anyway, they pulled me back out of the machine, and they couldn't find anything. And she told me, she said, there was so much stress on your body that it causes your nerve system to shut down. So when they sent me to a neurologist, when I went to the neurologist, the guy walked through the door. He was about 6'6" or 6'7". He was very tall and skinny. So when I went, he sit down to the computer, he looked at the x-rays and the MRI and all of this stuff, all these machines or whatever. But anyway, to make a long story short, he spent around in the chair real quick. He said, what do you do? I said, well, I do this. He said, what do you do? And I said, well, I pastor. He said, come over here. And he said, sit right here. And he told me all the vitamin that I should be taking. He told me, I'm not supposed to say this to you, but I'm going to tell you what you need to turn this around. When he told me about all of the vitamin that I'm supposed to have been taking, I thought about that all the way up to 2017 when a young lady had cancer. So the Lord told me, I was standing in the kitchen praying like, God, what can I do? And I did studies, what vitamins go with what vitamins and all of that. I did all of that 2 years prior. Didn't know what God was telling me why to do this, but I obeyed him and did it. So when I put the juice together, all of her hair grew back. Her fingernails literally was falling off. Her nails grew back, all her hair grew back. And let me tell you also something too. We know it was the power of God, but faith without works is dead. We have to work on this body. So the cancer started leaving. She had a big mass on her back. and that went away. God was really blessing. So I call the juice Supreme's Organic Juices, but I also say I stumbled into my blessing because I never thought about making juices. I did it for that young lady. She started telling people, and I started making the juice and all of that until I would have been in the soup line with all these people. I'm making the juices, and it turned into a living, and I done sold thousands of juices. I'm also hooking up with a multimillionaire that owns part of Bayshore Mall. He has a juicing company. He wants to combine with me. So God is really blessing, but I give you samples of the juices. They're all organic. I juice them myself, and I also pray on them as well. We believe in prayer changes things, and so I'm just grateful for the juices, and some God just have me, certain people I just give away. Now that my nephew has lupus, and he, at Chrissy last Get Lit, Savannah, he came there, and all of a sudden he got real sick to lupus. He had a big flare-up, and his head was hurting him so bad, and so he came over there and kind of stood with me because there was so many people there. And I first knew, I said, he was telling me my lupus flare, and I laid hands and prayed for him. And I gave him one of my juices, and in 15 minutes his headache was gone and he was doing just fine. He went back over there inside, and that's what I do. So that's me. I'm Supreme Organic Vitamin Juices. I've been doing it now. This is my second year, and I give more than I receive, but guess what? I'm always being blessed. So I thank y'all for that. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
That's wonderful, isn't it? Yeah. Miracles just right here. You hear about it, but you don't ever see them, do you?
Open our minds.
I'm telling you, her prayer and her juices work for me.
That's the Kool-Aid now. That's so good.
Yeah. So, with further ado, we have who? Yeah. Okay, so we got Dr. King. She's going to be, oh, you know what? I'm so sorry. No, I do know what I'm talking about. I ain't had a paper in front of me. We have Dr. King is next. She's going to be talking about chronic illness. Chronic illness.
Hello, hello, hello. Great day, great afternoon to everyone. Happy Saturday. I am none other than Dr. Marika King-Ortiz. I am a global wellness and leadership architect. I am a mental health expert of over 15 years, and I also am a United Nations Peace Ambassador. I want to pause and say thank you to the amazing, wonderful visionary, the host of today's gathering, none other than Savannah. I want to say thank you for putting this together. I want to say thank you for allowing me to contribute to your platform, even from a virtual perspective. I know that today has been amazing thus far, and I hope that what I contribute throughout the next 10, 15 minutes will also add even more value and help individuals walk away feeling even more encouraged and motivated today, both mentally and emotionally. As I shared with you, this particular topic is near and dear to my heart. I have a loved one who has been on this healing journey of lupus for over a decade. I've witnessed her journey through different times of perseverance, through the flare-ups, through the fatigue, and so on and so forth. So I want to say that I am here as an advocate on this journey, as an ally on this journey with not only my loved one, but also each and every individual that may be in this room today, that may be watching this virtually. I want to let you know that you have an ally in me. Without further ado, I hope you walk away with some tools, with some takeaways that can encourage you along your journey. This is not just another event. It's a divine interruption, a moment to honor the pain, name the truth, and activate the healing that has been calling your name. Lupus is more than a medical condition. It's an emotional, spiritual, and mental journey. It is valid. It is complex. It is often invisible. But so are miracles. So are miracles. Today is for the warrior who's tired of explaining his or her pain, for the survivor who holds her smile together with prayer and grit, for the believer who is still becoming. Today, you're not just seen, you're deeply known and heard. Let's move beyond the surface conversations into some soul level healing. These 5 strategies aren't quick fixes, they're lifelines. Each one is rooted in mental health principles and trauma-informed care. We're going to start with number 1. Give yourself permission to not be okay. It's okay not to be okay. It is okay to not be okay. And it's okay to communicate that as well. Be liberated. This is your reminder that strength is not the absence of pain. It's the permission to feel it. It is the permission to feel it, not the absence of pain. Key points. Validate your lived experiences because they are real. Chronic illness can cause invisible grief, grieving the version of yourself you used to know. That grief deserves space. And so today, I want you to honor yourself and give yourself that time and space if needed. Disrupt the strong woman syndrome. You're not weak for resting. It's okay. Our body needs rest. You're not weak for taking time for yourself to rest. You are not dramatic for feeling, and you are not too much for needing support. Create emotional check-ins with yourself. Ask yourself daily, what do I need right now? Then give yourself permission to give that need without apology. As a mental health clinician, I often encourage my clients every day when you wake up, ask yourself, what do you need to fuel yourself for today? And ensure that you definitely take time to do that. Mental health application that you can consider. Build a permission slip journal. Will you write down daily affirmations like, I don't have to explain my fatigue. My worth is not tied to my productivity. And I am allowed to rest. Number 2. Redefine strength as surrender, not striving. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is stop pretending. It's to stop saying, I'm okay when you're not. That's the bravest thing that you can do. One of the bravest things that you could do. Key points. Release the pressure to be everything for everyone. Chronic illness survivors often overfunction as a way to prove their worth. You don't have to prove anything. If you identify with this, you don't have to prove anything to no one. And you don't have to be everything to everyone either. It's time to let go of trying to be everything to everyone or being the strong woman all the time. Normalize needing help. Asking for support is a trauma-informed, mentally strong, and spiritually aligned decision. This is one of my favorites. Say no without guilt. No is a wellness practice. So if you have not used the word no in a long time without explaining, because no is a full sentence with a period at the end with no explanation needed afterwards. So if you have not said the word no in a long time without explaining yourself, I want to pause and allow you to just say no and embrace it. No. That's all you have to say. No is a spiritual boundary. No is not rejection, it's protection. I often tell my clients, whenever you say yes to someone else, you're saying no to yourself. So be mindful of that boundary that I just made note of. Be mindful when you are saying, yes, I can do that. When your body is saying, no, we need rest. You don't have to prove anything to no one. And again, you don't have to be everything to everyone. Remember the check-in? What do you need right now? Your body may be saying, I need rest. I encourage you to honor that. Practical action steps. Create a circle of support group blueprint. Who do you call when you need prayer? If you are a believer, I am. So I just included that just in case. Who do you trust with your truth? Who holds you accountable to rest and self-care? Number 3, be the advocate that you needed. Your story is sacred. Right now, in this room, in this space, Savannah is being the advocate that she may have needed. She created this space. She's cultivating this space, raising awareness, bringing people together with like minds, like hearts, in effort to be an advocate, to be a voice. Again, your story is sacred. Even your scars carry strategy. When you look at a scar that you may have somewhere, there was a lesson learned. There was a takeaway. There's a strategy that you can share with someone else. Key points. Turn your pain into a platform. Again, surely what Savannah's doing. Every flare, every ER visit, every delayed diagnosis, it can become education for someone else. Your story is educational for someone else. Use your voice in medical spaces. Challenge providers who dismiss your symptoms, ask questions, demand compassionate care. Speak to systems, not just symptoms. Advocate for culturally responsive healthcare, trauma-informed mental health access, and chronic illness etiquette. Number 4, rebuild your identity outside of the illness. You are more than a diagnosis. You are destiny in motion. I want to say that again as another place of encouragement. You are more than a diagnosis. You are destiny in motion. Key points. Unlearn the shame of limitations. If you've been feeling limited, if you feel like, oh, I can't do this, I used to be able to do this or that, I don't have it in me anymore, release the shame. Inhale liberty and exhale shame. Slowness is not failure. Needing help is not regression. You're not regressing. Relearn that rest is sacred and softness is strength. Reconnect with joy and purpose. What still makes you laugh? If you haven't laughed in a while, if joy is a distant friend, what can you do to bring that joy back? What ignites that joy? What ignites a good laugh? What creative spark still lives within you, but you haven't been tapping into lately? I encourage you to consider that, whether it's painting, poetry, dancing, singing, whatever it may be, allow it to be sparked again. What dream still whispers, it's not too late, that you have not walked out yet? I encourage you again to reignite that. Speak life over your body. Every day, say, I bless my body even when it hurts. I bless my mind even when it's tired. I bless my soul because it's resilient. Therapeutic practice, you can create an identity vision board that has nothing to do with lupus at all. Nothing to do with lupus at all. Include images of joy, passion, beauty, legacy, and faith. And allow that to be a point of motivation, a point of goals that you can work towards, or in your process of becoming or unlocking a new level of potential or connecting to your passion or whatever it may be. Set it before your eyes and watch your mind begins to shift. Number 5, make healing your legacy. Make healing your legacy. You are healing for your future, but you're also for your lineage. Key points. Heal loudly so others know it's possible. If you're in the room, if you haven't connected with someone in the room just yet, or someone may be connected to you and you're like, you know what? I need to heal out loud. I need to encourage someone else that may be on this journey, but a little that's new to this journey, possibly. Let me heal out loud so that they know that it's still possible. Your journey may be the blueprint for your daughters, for your sisters, or community. Break generational norms of silence and overworking. Model boundaries. Model joy. Model choosing peace over proving yourself. See yourself as a sacred disruptor. You are disrupting cycles of dismissal and silent suffering. If you are one who identifies as an individual who's been suffering in silence, I encourage you to allow today to be the last day that you do that. That you remove the muzzle off of your own mouth so that you're no longer silent. That you allow your voice to be amplified after today, even the more, like never before. Embrace your voice and use it. Mental health reflection. Ask yourself, what cycles stop with me? What story will they tell about my healing? What do I want to leave behind that never existed before me? That's that legacy talk. What's going to outlive me? A few takeaways. You may feel tired and unseen, but the truth is, your strength is not in question. You are a miracle in motion. You may feel overwhelmed by doctors, medicine, and flare-ups, but the truth is, you are still whole, even on your hardest day. You're still whole. You may feel depressed or anxious, but the truth is, these feelings do not dismiss your worth. They require compassion. And in this moment, I want you to receive compassion for every area. If you're dealing with anxiety, if you're dealing with depression, if you're dealing with fill in the blank, this is your moment. This is your time to receive compassion from a fellow ally. You may feel like giving up. Your story is not over. There's still purpose breathing on the inside of you. There's so much purpose on the inside of you. And I encourage you to tap into it if you have just scratched the surface of it. I encourage you to begin to open that thing up even the more, because there's so much for you to do in the earth. There are so many people that are waiting for your voice. They're praying, they're crying out, they're waiting for your voice and for you to take action. You may feel isolated, but the truth is, this room, this space, this moment proves you are not alone. You are not here by accident. You are not broken. You are breaking through. You are not broken, but you are breaking through. You are not behind. You are being built in divine timing. For every woman or man carrying a hidden burden, for every warrior who's tired of being strong, for every mother or father who needs to know his or her life still has meaning, this is your reminder. You are not just surviving lupus. You are redefining healing. You are reshaping systems. You are rewriting narratives. And we see you. I see you. We stand with you. I stand with you. We are rooting for you. I'm rooting for you. And as a call to action, I want you to live loud, heal boldly, and love deeply. From this moment forward, speak your truth with fire. Rest with intention. Protect your peace like your life depends on it, because it does. Refuse to shrink for anyone. We don't shrink back in no space, in no room. Choose joy over and over and over again. You are the healed leader. You are the warrior advocate. You are the legacy builder. Thank you so much again to Savannah, to the visionary, to the host. I appreciate everything that you're doing on this journey, and I just speak blessings over you and every individual in the room or who may be watching virtually. Take care and be blessed. I, again, am Dr. Marika King-Ortiz.
I was very thankful that she was able to pre-record for me and send me the video and take the time out to be a part of this. So not only did we collectively come together in human form, we were able to get some people to send us a video. So that was pretty dope. Last but not least, we are going to close it out with mental health. Okay. So we're going to welcome Miss Gray back. She's going to talk about how mental health plays on when you're dealing with an invisible illness.
How y'all healing this afternoon? Y'all feeling like refreshed, rejuvenated, feeling like y'all came here and got something y'all need? Dr. King definitely, I think she spoke all of what we've all either said or been trying to say. Today has just been overjoying for me, from the speakers to the people that are here supporting it. I just want to remind, and you guys probably have heard this 3 or 4 times, you are not your diagnosis, okay? And it's so important that we take control over our mental health. It's so important that when our body is telling us that, hey, I don't feel good, we actually listen to our body before we listen to the devil, or we wait for too much negative to take place. You get what I'm saying? It's so important because when we get these chronic, when we are diagnosed or a stigma is placed on us, we panic. We like, oh, what am I going to do? What's next? Or what if, or what if I don't? And so we have to remind ourselves of the positivity that we had prior to getting that diagnosis or that stigma attached to our name. Miss Erica, Dr. Erica spoke on so much. She actually had me over there in tears. As a young Black woman, I wish there were more of you 10 years ago before I got a hysterectomy, because I was told all my life I couldn't have kids because my fibro exacerbated my symptoms of my endometriosis and adenomyosis and all these things. And so I just wish it was more of you. I'm grateful for the Black therapists and psychiatrists and psychologists that we do have. But 10 years ago, I probably wouldn't have been so hard on my body, but I was in a life or death, quote unquote, situation is what they make us feel after so many years of, I can't help you, or here go 20 meds. I'm grateful for Miss Sarita Valmond. I admire you. My goal is to get there. I'm on one medication, but I want to get off all of it because none of the medications are meant to be long-term. They're not meant to be long-term. They are, if I'm being honest, I'm a medical assistant in pain management. I've been a medical assistant in psych for 5 years, and I've been a medical assistant for 16 years. I've seen the ins and outs, and I do my very best not to bash the pharmaceutical industry. But this is a country of business. It starts with how we think. It starts with picking that meal or that meal. Do I want to feel energized or do I want to feel sluggish? It starts with, hey, I'm going to pick up this bitter fruit or vegetable versus this carbs that I don't need, or the sugar or the sweetness. So it's so important because we don't really pick ourselves up until we in a crisis, or we can't walk, we can't move. But then our friends and our family are affected by our attitude, our mood swings, isolation. Because we're affected by what's now, the depression, the anxiety, the shame, the what ifs and things like that. So if we are getting the knowledge and the education that we can, and we're spending a little bit more time not believing everything that Google says, but just following a little bit of those steps, you know, the alternatives. We are right then and there making a decision that we want to be better. We have to give ourselves grace, men and women, that it is important to understand our symptoms are not going to change overnight, because we know that it takes about 21 days for anything to be changed, or to see change. But the moment we start, we're choosing ourselves. The moment we start, we're choosing our mental health. The moment we choose our mental health, we're already choosing our gut. And so it's so important that we get to events like this, and get the knowledge and get the research. Like I said, I was over here in tears because 10 years ago, I didn't have this. And I'm 36. I got a hysterectomy when I was 27 because the doctors told me all my life from 14, you can't have kids. Your PCOS is too bad. Your fibromyalgia at 15 is too chronic. It's too bad. Too many risks. And King Kamasi took us to another part, and we're not going to go there on slavery because we already know what our president trying to pay us $5,000 just to have a baby. But that's a whole different story for a different day. We have to choose our mental now. And the moment we choose our mental, we can choose our body. We can choose our health. It's hard when we go to the doctors and they're like, oh, well, you ain't lost a pound. Well, I did the work. I lost some inches. Our work ain't seen by them. The BMI is not for everybody, okay? There are still good physicians out here. There are still good clinicians out here, mid-levels, things like that. I'm grateful to be in the field as long as I have been, to see the ins and outs. But I wish I had somebody like this whole group right here 10 years ago, before I had to watch my mom die from all these, what we can't do for you anymore. She got about 15 medications right there. Looking at that, I'm asking for them because I know what I could be doing. I know what I should be doing. I have resources, even though she's not my bloodline. She's already shown us that we are walking testimony. It's capable. The healing is there. It's possible. We just have to build our village. We have to build our village. We have to support these community events. I met Savannah at an open mic. I really did. I'm a poet, all that good stuff. I met King Kamasi at an open mic. And that ginger juice, baby. Now look, you couldn't tell me to eat no ginger 3 years ago. I'm like, oh, that's nasty. I need ginger every time I make tea. Okay, I just need ginger water. I don't even need the tea. Like, just give me the little fuzziness, all that, because I know what I'm supposed to be doing. So we have to be mindful. Do that. Put yourself first. That self-care is priority to everything. It takes precedence to everything. If you can't get right, the rest of the world can't have nothing for you. Do the rest of the world no good that day. Those symptoms that we experience, they may not go away forever, but we can minimize them. The brain fogs, the migraines, the headaches. And I'm only saying this because I'm a 3-time stroke survivor at 36. And that's because I was so busy caring for everybody, helping them, I forgot to take care of me. I forgot that my body was going through pain because it felt normal, until the doctor said, you don't look like you having no stroke. I said, let me show you what my eye just did. Oh, yeah, your family history is real bad. She said, Miss Gray, you didn't have one, you had 2 on the back of your brain. And even in my most happiest moment of my life, I had another one. So understanding your boundaries, your friends and your support system say, hey, I can't be overstimulated, or I can't be stressed out. I know you got a problem, but I can't take projection right now. Those things are my favorite word is no. I don't care how my poet friends feel. If I can't show up on a Tuesday, y'all out of luck, because I need a nap. When my body say I need a nap, I need a nap. So there you go. They'll turn into a poem. So seriously, it is so important. I'm so grateful to be here at 36, because let the devil tell it I wasn't posed to. If you're afraid of doing your research, build your village. Stop at one of these tables. Write them on Facebook. We got to get rid of the shame. I was sitting over there in shame, like, oh, if they don't stop talking to me, oh, we. But the reality is we're here for a reason. whether you get an education or you're a warrior, because this is not it. Start taking care of yourself. All that Alzheimer's, dementia, all that, those are vascular diseases. That's what they don't tell you. It don't just come with old age. We can live as long as we choose to. Those are vascular diseases. So I'm just here to remind somebody, sit down, take a break. Your family can wait. I know I'm a perfectionist. I hate being late on time, but I might be about 3 minutes late, and y'all okay, because I needed my nap. I needed to move slow. I needed to slow down. I needed to get Treva together. So don't feel bad. Start putting yourself first. That's the end of my spiel. Thank y'all for having me, and y'all have a good weekend.
I'm wrapping it up. Thank you so much. I want to thank everybody for being in attendance today to bring awareness to the nation. And again, Lupus Has No Face cannot do this without you amazing people. It starts here. It always starts here every time we link up, right? It's a beautiful thing to see our Black and brown people. And we are amazing, right? We are intelligent. We are smart. We got products. Like, we are just thriving. And if we continue to do this together, we are stronger together than divided. So with further ado, if you guys want to, switch information or, social media or anything like that, please, yes.